All right, so some of you guys know that I'm getting back into drumming, and what I've been doing is actually practicing the rudiments, getting back to basics, and then also just finding really cool, interesting drummers to start to emulate and just kind of watch their style and get inspired. And so I'm coming across all these ridiculously talented drummers. Luke Holland is one of them. I'll put a link in the description below. You can check out some of his stuff. It's like mind-blowing. Like, this shouldn't exist, like this much talent. So super talented kid, just discovered him. I don't really know that much about him other than the fact that this is what he does behind a drum set. And that's just, well, I mean, I cut it off too soon, but that's just what his feet's doing, okay? I haven't even shown you what his arms are doing, this, again. But as I'm watching these guys, I had this rush of, like, defeat. It's like just saying, like, you know what, man, you're just not going to get to that point. This is not in your future. You should just be happy with the level of, you know, drumming that you have now, the skills that you acquire, and you'll improve upon them. But come on, man, you're not going to get here. And I realized that, like, a lot of you guys that watch my videos and you look at music licensing as your full-time career down the road, this might be what you're seeing. Like, this might be the analogy that you see, is you see this sort of goal in front of you, but it looks like they're going 90 miles an hour and you're still trying to figure out how do you start walking down this path. And you're like, how the hell am I going to get there? And that's exactly what I felt when I was seeing these videos and watching these guys play. And I had that sort of same feeling of like, geez, it's just overwhelming obstacles and years in front of me to get to this point. And it really just started to discourage me. And I was like, wow, I think this is what a lot of producers also must feel when they first find out about music licensing, see what it is, but then discover the hard work that it's going to take to get to full-time income. And they think, wow, well, that's, I don't know. And the temptation that I had when I'm watching these videos, and you guys might have the same temptation, is, well, yeah, if I went and spent the last 10 years of my life just in front of a drum set and did nothing else, I'd be just as good as this guy. I just haven't spent the time, so that's why I'm just not where he is. And, you know, it kind of gives me this sort of out. It sort of started to put into the story inside of my mind that I don't have to be as good as him because I'm not dedicating my life to drums in the way that he has. And that is okay, so I don't really have to improve. I don't really have to get any better. It was basically a way of me kind of like massaging my ego and making myself feel better about where I am with my drums. And it's a temptation that I think almost everybody probably faces when they see somebody going 90 miles an hour in front of them and you're not even going at a pace, a walking pace, right? And so I caught myself in this mode of thinking and I realized, no, I don't want to get stuck in that trap where I'm kind of giving myself outs and giving myself a big disclaimer. I have really two options here. I can basically just say, well, I'll never get to his level and I'll never get to this level of expertise with drums, so I might as well, you know, just be happy with where I am, or maybe just pack up my drums and ship them back and I'll just be done, right? Or the other perspective is, this is really advanced. This looks really hard. This looks like it takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice, like hours and hours and hours and hours of practice. And I can get there. I can absolutely get there. It's going to take days, weeks, months, maybe years, obviously with this kid. But there's a path in front of me to get to where he is. And if I sort of pace myself and I take it one day at a time and I set myself reasonable goals and I hit those goals when I need to hit them, I can get to where he is. There's actually really, that's all that's in between me and where he is sort of that step-by-step process of slowly and gradually improving my skills and getting to the point where he is. So with you want music licensing to be your full-time job, and you're looking at maybe somebody like me or other people who do this full-time, and you're like, these guys are going 90 miles an hour, how can I get there? You can absolutely get there. It's not an issue of whether or not you can achieve what we achieve, what I have achieved. You can absolutely do that. The question is, do you have the ability to make short-term goals, stick to those short-term goals, and achieve them on a day-by-day, week-by-week, month-by-month basis, right? So getting the right education and getting the right pathway to get there is obviously super important, critically important, but it's really not the whole story. The most important thing you can do right now is have the mindset that's going to help you, right? Have an attitude that's going to actually help you get there and not give yourself the easy out, which is, well, I mean, if I just had all this time, if I just had the connections, right? That's one I hear all the time. If I just had like some uncle that was in the business, I could get in, no problem. What all those excuses are doing is like putting you out of the path, out of the way of success. I mean, they're literally just all blocking your path entirely so that you don't even try, you don't even achieve, you don't even go for your short-term goals to get to the long-term goals. I hope this is ringing true and making sense for a lot of you guys, that it starts from day one with the perspective, with the mindset, with the, I can do it, I will do it. I know that it's going to take work though, right? That's different from, well, if I had 10 years, I could get to where if I only dedicated my life to this, of course I could. That's a different perspective that's actually going to give you those outs. And what's going to happen is those days when you are not that excited about making music, guess what storyline is going to get inserted into the front of your brain? That excuse that, well, if I had all this time and energy, of course I can, but today I don't really feel like it. I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go play video games. I'm going to go do something else. That's why you really want to eliminate that belief as soon as possible. Like right now, make that choice. I will not give myself that out. No disclaimers. No, just giving myself that option to not do this. I will do this. I will put myself on a track to do this, and I will make those step-by-step changes to get to the point where this is my full-time job. So I wanted to encourage you guys and motivate you guys because, you know, I went through a little bit of a dark period going through this and watching these drummers. But now as I've gone through this process mentally, I'm thinking, no, this is actually a great way for me to show you guys my mindset, how I go through the same things you guys do, okay? Nothing special about me, all right? I am just as human as the rest of you guys. And so I go through these moments of doubt and defeat and like, can I really do it? But I'm telling you right now, I've decided to shift my mind and say, absolutely. I can get to this point. I can absolutely get to where he is and maybe beyond or into my own style or whatever. But I can definitely go in this path, and it's just going to take time, energy, patience, and effort. And I'm going to be the one to get to that point. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it motivational and maybe useful.